Yo, yo, yo. I'm gonna start it off with I feel really bad. Last stream, I meant to shout out Axel Boy. And for whatever reason, I drew a blank. Couldn't remember his name. I'm sorry, brother. But a big props to him. Let's throw that song on. Why not? Axel Boy. SoundCloud at Axel Boy. There we go. No, I didn't forget. Axel Boy, there's his that in the chat. All right, dudes and dudettes, let's get this show on the road. I see our poll. How many votes do we have? It doesn't show me, actually. Oh, 108 votes. Not bad. 3 minutes, 108 votes. Looks like we're leaning towards the moon here as a group, but actually that's pretty split. It's pretty split. Let me pull this up on screen. 57% bullish, 43% bearish. I'd say for this channel, that's likely unusually on the bearish side. We're usually a little more bullish, so I think that there's something to read into just based on that alone. So let's see. I figured this is a good time to just pop on live because that way, hopefully I just kill any kind of momentum going and trade sideways as it usually does. What's up, Eleanor Shipolina? Great to see you while I'm live streaming. Vesemir, my brother. Sprout. Bro, Sprout. Been a long time, my friend. How you doing? Savage Trader, Picking Gas. Dino Mike, my brother. Ernest Gaia, Mellow Fellow. Harry, Nick M, Max, and Mr. Beardy. How you guys doing? So here we are. We're live. 236 watching. Not bad. Not too bad. Nice. Numbers are coming back. Last time we started out the live, it turned out to be a great live, but we only had like 100 something viewing at this point. So fingers crossed people are interested in watching some content today. We'll see. 85 likes. Here's my only problem, guys. 85 likes, 90 likes. They're coming up as I say it. You guys are reading my mind. Please, please, please smash that like button and subscribe during the live stream. If you haven't yet, they're very important. Very important. The more of those we get while we're live, the more people YouTube shows this live stream to, and that can bring in new family members and just makes it a better time overall. I'm not even really going to shill. Little pieces of housekeeping. One, next month is coming up. Check out Patreon, but don't sign up until July if you're planning on it. Two, Discord. You're going to notice our Discord link's a little different. We put in a verification bot on our Discord, and so hopefully now that means we can not play the switch the Discord link every stream every day Tango. We'll see. It's a crazy freaking problem, but jump on in the Discord if you're not in there yet. Best way to keep up with our live streams. We're live all the time. YouTube constantly shadow banning us. Fight against the oppression. Jump in Discord, you'll get the alerts. Whew, all right, so let's get into the real stuff. This little chart here, I shared this with the patrons. We've got some interesting things going on, but I think I'm going to start from scratch here. We're looking at this last stream. We're looking at levels that were tested as support. We had some targets kind of on the way down for untested support. You can see pretty much all of them hit. On the 17th, 39.3 hit as a resistance. Earlier today, 35.8. We didn't really test 37.5 as resistance. We tested it as support, but fell through. We don't say back test. So there is a rather decent probability that price is going to look to do that. May not be this minute, but something about these charts, man. They don't like to leave anything untested. If you've been in Bitcoin long enough, you probably have noticed that it tends to return to the same prices over and over and over again. And that's pretty typical. Pretty typical of the corn. All right. I gotta turn the sounds off. I like that it has this, but I don't like the sound. I'm not gonna do that now. What's up, the Styles Club? Slogan, Racha, Nick. Well, thanks for subscribing, guys. Great to have you in our fam. If you're sitting there not subscribed, what are you doing with your life? Just one click away. Regardless. All right, let's start a new chart because there's some stuff to look at today. Nothing has changed. I'm going to start with that. Our chart looks as we left it for the most part. We have a little bit of maybe shorter term interestingness going on, but the big picture here, really the exact same as we left it. Not a lot. We've been in this price range since May 19th. That is 33 days. You can see we've been pretty much stuck in this box, range trading. There's a few little things here that I like. Today's daily candle, obviously ugly. Obviously. But there's some things I like here. One, if we look at our lows, let's look at our lows here on Bitcoin. Our original May 19th low, 30,000. Just call it 30,000. It was 30,000 on Coinbase. This is the Coinbase index. Or Bitcoin index. This thing throws me off my game every time. I want Coinbase. I don't care what this index says. So let's clear all this. There we go. I don't care what that index says. I want to see what the spot exchange says. So there we go. Right here. There we go. 30,000. Low on Coinbase. Cool. Since then, we have had what is, I think, arguably a double bottom. Arguably. It's not perfect. Slightly lower low there on January 8th, but I think that's within the margin of error. It's like a fraction of a percent. So we'll say low, either double bottom or higher low, either way. And now today, 31.7. 3 hours and a half to go. If this is the low for today and we see some kind of buying either into the close or tomorrow, this will be the third higher low in a row. While that doesn't guarantee moon, it's really not a bad thing. That is actually the start of something good, potentially. Let me close this poll quick. Nice. Doubled the votes right before I was going to close it. 226 votes, and we are split. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like when it's split. It means we're closer to actually seeing something happen. So let's end that poll. We're going to call that a tie. I like it. I like it. I like it. Very close. Very close. So, in addition to these lows, we do have a little something. So let's say low, higher low, and as it stands, this is another higher low. Typically, let's invert it. Typically, that would be bearish. If you saw a high, a lower high, and a lower high, you would expect that to. We would expect that to be a topping formation. Not enough to trade off of, but it's something to keep in mind that this chart does look like this selling pressure is weakening. That can change in the drop of a hat, but for the moment, we're good. There's something actually, though, that's even more important, perhaps, than these lows. May 26th, our high 40,900. You can see right here. June 15th, slightly higher high. So think of this as a macro. We have a low, a higher low, a higher high, now a higher low.
Tell us what laptop or desktop you trade on. Looking for a new rig.
What's up, 100 Airman? I would definitely recommend you trade on a desktop. It's not going to matter too much. Thanks for the 10. It's not really doesn't really matter what hardware. I'm pretty sure like a really basic computer could do that. Just avoid phones. I would also say avoid laptops, especially small screened ones. But I appreciate it, dude. Let me run through. So, while this isn't yay moon, what we have here are the first pieces of a rally. This doesn't guarantee we have a rally, but we have the pieces until here, and until we can confirm this as a higher low, we didn't really have anything. All right, so here's the structure that we have. We have low, and then we have a high. We have a higher low. We have a higher high. Now potentially we have a higher low. This is the only thing looking okay. This is certainly one of those if this, then that. So what I can say pretty confidently is right here, our higher high. Ever so slightly, but I think it's without or outside the margin of error there. That's definitely a higher high. As we see the body of the candle closed higher and the wick. 31 or 41.3. So it's just about 1%. That's dang close. Dang close. You can argue that either way then. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that is a higher high or no? I'm curious if you think so or not. Let me know. So we have the setup, the start. This is the bare minimum of what we would expect to see if we're going to make that move to the upside. All right. Without this, we really have nothing. If we zoom out, we really don't have anything. Here's what we don't want to see. If you're a bull, if you're a bear, maybe you do want to see this. We don't want to see a lower low today. And if we do, we don't want it to go below June 8th's low. So that would be keeping above 31.1. That's only about a 2% move from the lowest point traded today. It's really not. That's really close. If we look at volume, you guys know I don't use volume too often. I use volume too often. I think it honestly is deceptive more often than it is useful. But right now, if we zoom into small time frames, there's something I do like. We can see off this low here today, we have increasing volume. There are buyers absorbing these sells. Now, why am I specifically pointing out that buyers are absorbing sells, Tom? Because volume doesn't have anything to do with that necessarily. There's one reason. Get your learning hats on. So, today we saw something a little weird right here. Earlier today, what was this? About 12 hours ago-ish. I don't know. This is on the 5-minute. We are zoomed in. Oh, I turned my watermarks off. Crap. Craps. There we go. Watermark back on. This is on the 5-minute. You guys know, I do not use the 5-minute. I'm not a 5-minute man. I'm like a 4-hour man, if you know what I mean. Anyway, zooming in on the 5-minute. Maybe this is visible on the 1. Okay, cool. Maybe even the 1 minute's a better place to look at this. In this day, we saw very strong selling. Now, it wasn't prolonged selling. This is 2 minutes. 2 single minute candles right here. With a 3.6% drop just in 2 minutes. That's a $1,200 drop. That's not really as important. That is very violent. That is a violent drop. That's uncharacteristic. In fact, I want to argue this. If we look at recent price action, these are one of like the few times that we've seen these drops. What we have been seeing is the opposite, actually. We've been seeing these rallies, these strong, just single green candles, and they don't really go anywhere. I guess we did see some here too. Maybe this is just my observation. In my observation, I've seen a lot more of these kind of spike greens and then trails off red. They call this taking the elevator up and the stairs down. I wonder if we have good examples. I'm not going to waste time on it. Anyway, moving on. Still same topic. We're going back to this candle. That was some intense selling. The volume here, you can see that's actually kind of right when the volume starts kicking off. But price didn't continue. There's no follow through. We saw some kind of buyers come in. You could say this was just trying to stop out shorts. I think that would be reasonable. It's a very slight bounce, lower low. And now it's, at least the way it stands right now, where is the selling volume? After something like this, I would expect more selling volume. Or I would expect it to climb back up slowly. Actually, very similar to this. This is what I would look for. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing something else. Pretty much trading sideways. But we can look at it in a different way. Let's invert the chart. Everybody sees things better when it's upside down. This is a very, very small time frame, but instead of seeing that stairs back up or an immediate response, we may be seeing what looks pretty similar to a head and shoulders. I would say this is the neckline here. This could potentially be the right shoulder. But what do we need for this to be valid? Well, we need to drop through the neckline, and then we'd like to see a back test. So we're not quite there yet, but it's something in a small time frame they might as well be looking for, especially as we're hovering. Guys, the lowest point of this entire year minus January, we are trading only 8%. It's only 8% below. It's only 9%. We're only 9% above the lowest point. So this is some pretty dangerous territory. This is a place where people are going to be very uncomfortable making a trade. I wouldn't advise making a trade. If you haven't made a trade this whole time, in my opinion, I don't know. Right now seems like the craziest time. Craziest time to decide to all of a sudden go all in or all out. So, yeah, we're seeing a little bit different price action here that catches my eye. It's just different from what we've seen. This looks maybe like a flag. It looks maybe, like I said, as a potential head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder. But what it really is to me is it's showing momentum to the sell side. May have been exhausted, at least on this time frame, with this candle. That's that. So let's actually get off small time frames because I hate them. And let's look at a few more interesting things going on here. So if we zoom out to the 4-hour, sticker trendline tool, we're going to connect our lowest points minus our current, because we don't know if we have a reversal here yet or not. Let's extend that line out. Boom. I'm going to get rid of these. We have a little less visual noise. And let's take a look. On the 4-hour, that low was perfect. It was a perfect low. Right there. Touch the trend line. 1, 2, 3. If we get any kind of reversal, it doesn't mean we have to go up to new highs. But if we see any kind of reversal here, even if it's kind of just back to this mean, that's 3 touches to a trend line, which validates that trend line. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Wouldn't be a bad thing. Could give us a guide as to where we might look to stop loss. Say we bounce here, you're still bearish. You may look to stop loss on that trend. Not financial advice, just a thought. It's going to be a useful tool if it holds here. If it doesn't hold here, well, then obviously it's not. If it doesn't hold here and we shoot for a lower low, we're probably going to be testing this 30 range. I think that's what's on everyone's mind. A double bottom here, I don't believe to be very likely. Bitcoin is not a big fan of like double bottom macro stuff. You might get them on smaller time frames and they play out. Same with double tops. But for something like this after a month of sideways trading, I doubt that's the way this resolves. For those of you who are new here today, there's always new people. What I'm looking for is pretty simple dimples. I'm not going to go super into it. If you'd like to see this more in depth, check out the last stream. It's been edited down to only about 30 minutes and it has lots of this good information in it. But I'm still looking for the same point right about here, 48s, 20 weekly moving average. There's a lot of it, a lot of reasons. I'm still looking for this. I don't know how this resolves, but I'm still looking for some kind of slow move to that 618 retracement up here, 48,000. What happens there is going to be the big question. Like I said, still not afraid of any of this action. I'd be afraid up here if we see a very strong selling response. In the counter, in the other argument, say I'm wrong, say we don't go back to the 20 weekly, this is what I would be looking for. Some kind of low break, probably a back test of this ascending trend. And here is what I would legitimately expect to see. I'm just going to draw, I'm not going to use, these aren't exact values, but maybe something like this. Just like that. I believe that if we have a leg down here without a leg up first, this leg down is going to be utter exhaustion of selling. Utter exhaustion. Market makers likely loaded shorts here. Likely loaded shorts here. Likely loaded shorts even here locally, but without upwards price action, they're unlikely to get enough liquidity. That's what we were talking about in the last episode. And so a move to the downside without some kind of relief here, without attracting buyers. Remember, you need a buyer if you want to sell. You need someone logging if you want to short. But without that move to the upside, I don't think there'll be enough liquidity to open shorts. And so if we do, and I'm still not of the opinion we do, but if we do see a move down, a leg down again, I think it will be very short-lived. I might not be doing it justice by this drawing here. And draw a little better. I think it'll be short-lived. It's likely to be a little wickish. I'd like to see capitulation, meaning a sharp, likely V-shaped recovery, lots of volume, lots of speed to the downside, followed by even more speed to the upside. So these are pretty much my only two kind of outcomes that I see on this chart. Do we have a capitulation here? Lower. If you guys have been following the streams, I think 24 was my next target. And then we have like 20K and 17.1. Could happen to any of these ranges. Or we see a retest, back test of the 20 weekly, the same way we have in every single market cycle. As we entered a bear market, we back tested the 20 and rejected. This is the spooky situation. There is one more. One more. Thank goodness there is one more opportunity here. I said this actually back in May. The longer that this remains sideways before testing the 20, likely the better. I don't know why exactly. I've just observed it that when you lose these moving averages, when you run back up and test them again immediately, that it almost never works. So the final outcome I see, and the longer we trade sideways, the more likely I believe this to become, is we rally back up to that number, but instead of getting meteor smashed, likely we come somewhere near the 786, right? Yeah, 786. But kind of ignore the 20, turn around to back test it, and then have a higher high. So what would really be important there is moving beyond the 20, staying and closing above the 20, and then breaking whatever high we put in. And I think that's the bullish setup. This one is the bullish setup. The other two, not quite as bullish. The capitulation, that could be pretty bullish. You never know, though. That would really have to pick up some fire afterwards. But man, the worst of all, that would be the worst of all. I do not want to see that 20 reject price. Anyway, I've talked about that 100 times on the stream, but you never know when new people are watching. And we got 800 people watching right now. I love you guys too. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Dang. I didn't really think anybody would be here. Well, it's freaking awesome to have all of you here. If you're new, make sure you subscribe during the live stream. If you haven't hit that like button, we only have 230 likes. We have 800 watching. Those are rookie numbers or JV. We usually have, honestly, we usually have more likes than viewers. So if you haven't liked it, smash it. Discord links in the chat. I'm not really shilling Patreon or anything. So let's take a look at a few things we looked at as well in our previous stream. Ooh, that's actually cool. I'll show you guys this too. Let's get rid of all this. So I don't know if we actually looked at this. I want to look at the gold, but we'll look at this first. Interesting comparison. We're seeing the dollar. You guys have probably heard the dollar had a nice little rounding bottom here across May and June, and we saw some kind of rally here. What's interesting to me is that the timing doesn't line up. Bitcoin and the dollar here not really acting correlated. Less than I would expect. I don't really think they're 100% correlated to begin with, but to see such a big move on the dollar, and really it's not as if Bitcoin moved opposite or anything, but it really is just largely unaware. If we look at May 18th or May 19th, the big sell-off day on Bitcoin, and we look at the dollar, there's really no correlation. It's just like kind of near this bottoming formation. It didn't move really up or down, moved slightly up from there. We're not seeing the dollar and Bitcoin run opposite. I think that's likely a good thing. Likely a good thing. I'm just going to delete all this. Likely a good thing. But then here, the 16th of June, we've seen the dollar, and I think this is one of the most explosive dollar moves like ever. This is why we're in crypto, guys, not Forex. A 2% move in like a few days is like the most explosive move ever. But we're not really seeing, if these were inversely correlated, what we would expect to see is, well, on this rally here on the 16th, we would expect June 16th, right here, to be pretty much an equal move in the opposite direction. Sure, we saw downside. It's just too loose of a correlation for me to really think of it as valid. Yeah, Bitcoin's already moving down. The dollar was moving down. Bitcoin was moving down. Kind of surprising. Didn't really expect to see that. Something I haven't done that I want to do really quickly here is I want to see where this dollar's at in its retracement. So let's take our highest point on the chart and our lowest point on the chart and connect them with our fib tool. Oh god, my OCD is killing me. Come on. Get that bottom. Get it. There we go. Alright, so it's not the 618 hasn't actually validated 786 yet. Not a lot to be taken away from that, to be honest. Interesting. Interesting. Gonna have to pull off some bullish divergence. Something tells me the dollar may have some fuel left in its fire, but on a macro sense, it's just always so hard. It's always so hard to assume the dollar is going to go up. It just inflates. Doesn't deflate, it just inflates. And it's inflated at levels probably never seen before in the dollar's history. We're just underreporting it really, really deeply. I was hoping I had something else to say about it, but what I actually wanted to even look at was gold, our gold comparison. Where did I drop that bad boy? Where'd it go? I lost it. There we go. We were looking at this in our last stream. I'll move out of the way. No, that didn't help. So basically, you guys have been hearing about Bitcoin's death cross. But not that many people have probably heard that gold has been gold crossing, golden cross. That is the opposite of the death cross. It's considered a bullish signal. If you're here last time, we were making fun of it because look what happened. 50 coming up to meet 200, supposed to be a bullish sign. Dump. Market didn't agree. We're seeing pretty weak relief here. Wouldn't surprise me to see gold move back up to that 1830 range. But man, it's hard to be bullish on it, despite all of the macro elements saying that you probably should be. I don't know. But the important part for us is Bitcoin with the death cross. Today's candle showing some of that death cross power maybe. But until we have some kind of lower low, as we said earlier in the episode, nothing has really changed. Nothing. So I'm still watching this cross. Absolutely watching that 50 daily, if not the 200. Very common in Bitcoin. Again, watch yesterday or the other day's stream to have these crosses and see price move opposite. We haven't seen that yet. Actually, for what? 1, 2, 3, 4 days before this cross, we had red candles, right? Yeah, it happened a little bit earlier than we were looking for. June 19th. Yesterday, slightly green, and then today, a big engulfed red candle. Kind of interesting, as these crosses are extremely lagging. We're talking the average price of 200 candles added together divided by 200. So these are very slow moving. One giant candle in either direction isn't really going to move them that far. So this is very lagging. These crossing is actually showing us something that's already happened. What's interesting is that we haven't seen a super intense sell-off, and we haven't seen a rally back. Price kind of unfazed. Just a little bit sideways still. Man, really got to look at those lows and look at those highs, and until we break something, it's really just ranged. So I thought this was interesting. Gold seeing a little bit of a relief. And Bitcoin's seeing a little bit of a sell. A little bit of a sell. Man, these are not that interesting. All right, what was it? Oh, yeah, Internet Computer. We looked at this. Someone tipped for it. We did some really cool TA to just divine out of nothing these values. And I will say, guys, you know, I'm not someone who's really worried about their ego or being right. I just do my best and look at the charts. The in-stream trade, while it did get stopped out, the method we used to create this was really cool. And what's even cooler is you can see price interacting with it. This is really cool to me. So this value had never been traded. 44.37 had never been traded when we looked at it. I believe it was right here when we looked at it. So we were saying, this is quite a statement. We were saying it's going to go lower than it's ever seen. And then we're going to look for it to bounce at a random level. And it wasn't random, but it was a kind of interesting way we crafted this together. So we were off, but even our stop loss, even where we were looking to stop, you can see the candles are beginning to respect that too. Check it out. On the 4-hour, we had a pretty clear bounce off of the entry. On the 4-hour down here, we see wicks underneath the stop, like, you know, we were wrong, we were stopped out. But price, that's not random. Price isn't just randomly moving. It is reacting to that 39.62. And so for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, what do you mean? Like, is this guy trying to say he controls the market? No, it's not what I'm trying to say. I will show you how we got this. So a lot of the time I use the Fibonacci tool to extend price up, to look for upside targets. It's been a very effective tool throughout this entire year, less so now, at aiming for prices that have never been traded. We don't have a lot of other tools that can help us with that. But Fibonacci retracement and extension tool can, and I'll show you how we got this. Sucks it didn't work, but man, this is really close. So instead of using this to project up, we used it to project down. So we took our swing low, connected it to our swing high, and that suggested these values. Tell me that TA doesn't work. Look me in the eye and tell me TA doesn't work. You can say it if you don't. I mean, if you don't know what TA is, and you have a concept in your head that it's some kind of like free money machine or like knows the future, well then yeah, you're right, it doesn't work. But that's not what TA does. TA helps us do this. We had no reason or ability to look at these levels. We had never traded there. 44.37, 38.78. Why would anyone place orders there? It's never been traded. There's no history. Well, because our Fibonacci tool, our analysis, revealed those numbers. Now, it would be really awesome to see this take off. Who knows? I think this coin's kind of a S coin anyway. Well, yeah. So it may continue dumping, but it would be really cool to see this take off here, even though the trade was stopped, just to reinforce that this is a way to use this tool, that it is better than nothing, better than guessing, better than flipping a coin. That's what TA is, better than flipping a coin. All right. Something that we definitely need to look at today. We talked about it in the last episode, and I got bad news. Got bad news. Bitfinex shorts, last time we were streaming, had been mooning. That freaks some people out thinking, man, shorts are really high. That means price is going down. Well, I did a little study here of the recent swings on this, and this Bitfinex shorts chart does not seemingly have much of a correlation to price at all at the moment. These previous two peaks here don't really line up. They don't really line up with anything in the sense of, where did they go? Where did they go? Oh, well, I'll look at it later. They don't really line up with anything if you look at these dates. The highest point in these shorts, 15th of June, if we look over here. This is the most relevant one. So we saw a high in shorts and we saw a high in price. This is pretty much the only one that seems correlated to me. The rest of these are kind of just gibberish. So if we see 17th of May, 18th of May, it's like it was already mid sell-off. Nothing really changed. In fact, what we can see here is before and after. It was just trending down. And so if we're looking at this point and saying shorts going up, you guys can't see it, crap. And we're saying shorts going up means something, then we would expect to see some kind of consistent outcome. We don't see that. It was falling. It kept falling. This time, it peaked. Shorts started falling. Price was kind of already falling, but is falling. This one's a little correlated, and the rest gets sloppy. Apparently, this has not been a very good indicator, at least in this year. It used to be phenomenal. So April 25th, let's throw that on here too. So there you go. April 25th, we saw a high in shorts. Oops. April 25th, we saw a high in shorts right here. And then in price, what do we see? Nothing at all related, nothing similar to what we were talking about. The high in shorts was the the local bottom before bouncing and then, well, obviously falling down, but that's not consistent. So I do want to pull back a little bit of the weight I put on Bitfinex shorts. At one point, they were like the only big player in the game. And at this point, I don't even think they're considered like a big player, to be honest. That being said, what's up, Stu JK, my man? Are you ready? That being said, I still am going to keep following this. I still would like to see a higher low on these shorts. But man, these have really sold off fast. In the last episode, I was actually saying, before I looked into these recent moves, I was saying, if these continue to grow and price continues to move up, when we see these close, that could be a very bad sign. It could be a very bearish sign. This has ushered in bearish waves before. I'm not sold now, though. Not sold. There's just none of this really seems to have impacted price in like a consistent way. So I think I'll have to take some time and create a new speculation as to what is really going on with these. And the reality is likely Bitfinex is just not the big player it used to be. Yeah, that's probably all I'm going to say about this. But what you should know, just out of curiosity, look at that. 86.45% decline on these shorts. That's wild. That's wild. That's a lot. Really, the only value I see that we would look for a bounce would be this 618 at just under 3,000. So I'd like to put an alert, but I don't think that they work very well on this. But I'll put one anyway. I'm going to keep watching it, but it doesn't seem as if it's as important as it used to be. Because, guys, at one time, it was very important. It was very important. I think there's likely just too many places now to arbitrage, too many places to trade the exact same contracts, and so maybe this just isn't the monster it used to be. One more cool thing, and then we'll get to chat. What do you guys think of this stuff so far? Go ahead and tell me. Go ahead. Type it out. Type it out. So something else I wanted to show you guys. Patrons privy to this before. We have something. This might be grasping at some straws, but it isn't cherry picking. It's not cherry picking. It is there on the chart. This is there. I'll show you. It is there. So it's not cherry picking, but we'll see. So I've mapped out, and this is on the daily. We can see from February till May. Okay. Now this point called validation here. Very simple to understand this. H is high. It just means high. L means low. So what do we have here on the daily? And this is when Bitcoin topped out. We have a high. That was the highest point in price at the time. And then we had a low. Okay, cool. Not that complicated. After that low, we had a higher high, meaning it breached the previous high. We have a higher high. After that higher high, sold off, but it was a higher low. Did not exceed the low previous. All right. Moved back up to a higher high. Cool. Right? All right. Then you'll see. This is why it's interesting. So the higher high then sent us to a lower low. Why is that? Because it exceeded to the downside the previous low here. So we have high, low, higher low, higher high, lower low. Then we have what I've labeled X. All right? This is where it gets interesting. I've labeled this X. I don't know why, just because. I didn't have a word for it. So let's look at X. What did X do? First off, X was off of a lower low. And we see pretty similarly interesting price action. High, low, lower low. High, higher high, lower low, higher high. All right. But really what this is either a momentum leg. This is part of the Wyckoff people are talking about. But really what it is kind of just a expansion, but it's just showing very little momentum. All right. In hindsight, it's easy to see this. At the time, harder. Regardless, this is kind of where we see the trend start to break. Because if this pattern had continued, we would expect something like this and like that, etc. Everyone knows what happens after that, right? So validation point is that lower low. Everybody knows what happened after that. Boom, fell down. So here's where it gets pretty cool. We have something very similar. Ooh, and it's followed my path so far. Followed my path so far. So, this chart, check this out. This is actually on the 4-hour. We have something similar. We have a high, we have a low. We have a higher high. And then technically either of these could be higher lows. They're both actually higher lows, but to fit this pattern better, I'm just going to put one. Higher low, higher high. And then I'm going to dub this right here X. That's what I did. You can see this. Let me delete it. When I did this, we weren't really sure how price was going to play out. So here's our X. Let's look at both of those together. Somewhat similar, pretty similar. What do you guys think? Not bad? Decent? Here's what we want to see if you're a bull. We don't want to see price move beyond this higher high because it didn't here. So to follow this pattern, you guys know I love patterns and fractals. We want to see price reverse, and we're looking for this, right? Looking for that X to play out. So let's look at the other chart. Let's look at this X playing out. If it does, and again, we have terms of invalidation. If it moves beyond here, this is no longer valid, we throw it out. But until it does, we might have something useful. So we see here, possibly an X, and what we would expect, and we can even see it here if we zoom in. We have that high, low, higher high. We didn't quite get the lower low, and we got the higher high. Let me add that back. This is originally what I was looking for, and you can see it's played out pretty darn close. The only threat here is that, well, price is moving up pretty quickly, and it doesn't have much room before it's invalidated. But it is still technically in play. So why is this interesting? What does this mean? Why am I showing you this? Why am I spending so much time? Are you showing me that we have another top, that we're going down? Well, this chart is actually the 4-hour. The chart before, this is the daily. But there's something special in the 4-hour here. I've inverted it. I've inverted this 4-hour. This is what it looks like without it. So what I'm suggesting here is this top pattern. HL, HH, HL, HHH, LL, X, right? Then drop. We may be seeing that this way. As long as we don't invalidate our HHH, we may look for the opposite, for the exactly symmetrical in the other direction move. This is not a guarantee. This is just technical analysis. I'm a chart nerd. We're studying patterns. We're looking at charts different ways. And this caught my eye. Pretty cool. What do you guys think about it? Let's look at the F. Oof. Oof. Man, F. What? Are these different charts? Oh, they are different charts. Bitstamp versus Coinbase. All right. Seen better days, but not in danger yet. Let me take a deeper look. Seen better days, but does not look like it's in danger. So what you guys really want to pay attention to here on Ethereum overall, let's zoom out, just take a look at it. There is a void. There's a void of trading. Not a lot of volume has ever been traded there. On the way up, we shot through it as we were on it. That's how we were predicting that would happen if we reach those values. Here's the catch-22. Is if we fall to those levels, there won't be a lot to support us. So where are those levels? Let's see. This is the void. Let's get rid of all these lines in the void, man. The void does not need lines. So the void on Ethereum, it starts at 1105 and it reaches down to about 741. You can see the void. As soon as we really got into this range, we just moved to the top of it. Just right to the top, 1105. Went from 750 to 11 and 5. what, in like a day. This is a dangerous but also a fruitful zone. Fruitful because, well, we got to kind of skip a lot of value, but dangerous for one reason. If we do fall back to 1105 and it doesn't hold, which I don't think is the most likely. I think it would hold if it's tested. But if it doesn't, you fall right back down. You fall snap, like you break it, you nudge back test it, you just drop. So I don't think that that is the probable outcome. But that's the most important value to me if you're watching Ethereum. If you're a big Ethereum person, you don't want to see it go under 1105. There's just very little reason for it to stop if it does go to that level. But as you can see, we're trading at virtually double that value. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. For Ethereum, I'm actually going to make a new chart because I haven't made one for Ethereum, I think, in at least a month. So let's clear this chart up and let's get like some good, clear, defined values without all that noise. How do we do that? You know how we do that. We zoom out. First, we zoom out. Always. Let's look at our monthlies. Boom. There it is. 1105. At the top on the monthly, 2800. Very clean numbers here on Ethereum. And then there's not really that much else that's going to be super important. 290. Unlikely to trade there. Yeah, that's about it. So, monthly. Actually, there's one more here. We'll take last month's bottom wick, last month's low, because as long as we don't breach last month's low, there's still an argument for it's trending up. Let's look at that weekly. Weekly levels lining up pretty well. We see weekly resistance actually closer to 4,000. And this is good. This is good. These weekly closes here are likely the reason we found support here. We have not retested it. It would be better if we don't. Let's be real. It'd be better if we don't. Let's look at these indicators, though. But our RSI continues to move down. Our MACD continues to move down. So as long as we don't make a new low below 1728, we will have bullish divergence. And that will give us a slight edge that we are going to look for an upside move after. On the weekly as well, this value stands out to me, and we're right there. We're right there at 1935. So let's make this green and thick, giggity. This is where I'd like to see Ethereum close its weekly. I'd like to see it close above 1935. Trading at 1915, that's very possible with 6 days to go. A lot of time. But you can see, you can visually see, I feel, you can visually see that there's support here. Price reversed here not once, but twice on the weekly. Acting as resistance before breaking up. Technically, this support held on the weekly as we settled up above it. So that's what I want to see here with Ethereum. In fact, what might be even kind of the more bullish scenario on Ethereum is to see a close above 2100, to close above May's candles here. That would make a double bottom on the weekly. That would look pretty good. Look pretty good. Let's zoom into that daily. Oh, I almost forgot to look at the 20 weekly. Poor Ethereum. That sucks. So, the 20 weekly, the level that we're waiting for Bitcoin to move back to. Ethereum had done a great job holding it. This week, opened below it and moved down. So this week is only traded 21 hours. So this candle, we might as well not even look at it right now. Like, this is what the chart is for all intents and purposes. Too much time left to settle up. This could go way lower. It could close green. There's too much time. However, there we go on the weekly. So I was looking at these targets. This is now the prize. The prize is now the 20 weekly for Ethereum. It's at 2266. That's really where the bulls are going to want price to settle up. You don't want to lose the 20 weekly. You probably don't need like evidence, because you look at Bitcoin and say, this is what happens when you lose the 20 weekly. So that's actually a really good target to keep an eye on. There's good values there. 2266, 2100, 1935, and then of course the wick from May, 1728. Daily touching the 200. This is a interesting chart. We can actually already see that bullish divergence that we were speculating on the weekly. We can already see it here forming on the daily. However, it's not valid yet. There's two things that it needs. We need to see a bounce of some kind. You got to see the RSI come back up. You can't just say, oh, the RSI is lower, that's bullish divergence. No, you need to see a reversal of some kind. Doesn't have to be a big one. You have to see something. Because you have a lower low in price on the 23rd. You have a higher low in price here. Here's what else could happen. Is if price moves down, similar to whatever coin I was just looking at. What was it? Crap. One. Was it one? Yeah. Just like one, actually. One BTC, we just looked at it. The problem is if Ethereum does lose this low and goes below 1728, all of a sudden, this bullish divergence is gone. Because now you have a lower low in price and a lower low in RSI. That's not bullish divergence. So I think Ethereum's really going to look to battle to hold this low. It's likely going to cut down to what the corn has to say here. This is a pretty good chart. This looks just like Litecoin to me. Here's what I can, this is what I'd like to see. Really not in a price way, but shape, pattern, formation. To me, this is very much a V bottom. And this might not be what people want to hear, but what I'd like to see on Ethereum is this. Nice rounded bottom, low volume, not a lot of explosive moves. I'd like to see volume lower, which I'm sure it is. Yeah, of course it is. And the reason I'd like to see this is because this is a very specific reversal pattern, and I can already kind of see it already here. We're definitely going to need to see more trading, so like, might look something like this. Where's my pen? Something like that. That's what we'd like to see. Low volume. So volume high here and then not so high. The reason I'd like to see this is because this is what we call an Adam and Eve bottom. Adam being this sharp, high volume V recovery. And then Eve, this is the part we're speculating because we have the Adam. We don't have the Eve. So we're speculating on the Eve. The Eve is a rounded, low volatility, low volume, very almost lazy price movement. It should look like a cup. It should be longer than the Atom, which it already is. That's probably what I'd like to see. It could, in theory, touch and double bottom. It is considered a double bottoming pattern, even though it rarely ever does double bottom when it paints this. But that's what I'd be keeping my eye on for Ethereum. I wish that it meant moon now, but hey, Adam and Eve doesn't have to happen. We can have all kinds of stuff play out. Last thing I'm going to do here on Ethereum before we move on to the next coin is I'd like to do this. Let's look at our swing high, swing low. Not a lot there. Not a lot there. Surprising. Our 618 retrace is at 3,000. Our 0.5, which we've already tested not once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. 2750. That actually makes me even more curious. 618. Ooh, man, here we are. So if we apply our fib to right here, so this would be the retracement from here to here. This is our last line of defense, which is interesting because on the 4 hour here, you can literally see a change in momentum. The candle started getting smaller. Wick started getting smaller. Didn't break its initial low. It had been. Actually kind of looks like this, to be honest. This is the last line of defense in this retracement. After that, you only have the 100% retracement. And in the worst case, you get the extensions. These awful, ugly extensions. Those would suggest 1250, 1000. Those are pretty brutal to swallow. Maybe we can find ones that are more local. Oh, there's some hope, man. There's always hope. Wow, that's actually really clean. So our swing low, our most recent swing low to swing high in Ethereum, our measured move, our 2 extension, is literally right here. Literally right where price is. That's not a bad spot to bounce. What's interesting, 2618, very close to its lowest point in price. And it even looks, yeah, it even bounced off of its 1618. Interesting. Ethereum, you want to stay above here. All right. That's wild how accurate that is, though. Those are overlapping. Look at that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So let's see, what else? What won? Let's end the poll. Boom. 500 votes. Well done. Well done, fam. 500 votes. That's a lot of votes. Or 470 votes. Yeah, same thing. Other one. So I guess we're going to look at other. Let me pull that chart up. Let's bring up other. I wonder if there's actually a chart called other. The other deadness. We're not going to look at that. All right, we'll look at, we'll take a peek at the MATIC. We looked at MATIC last time, though. I'll do this, because I'm so generous. And because there's so many people watching, you guys are amazing. Great to have you here. Oh, MATIC. Or this is Vet. Oh, Vet. RE filled our trade. Oh, yeah, buddy. Placed live in stream on the 2nd of June. Vet just filled our live stream in-stream trade setup at 0.8 cents. Stop loss just below our low over here, May 23rd. I wonder if that will get hunted. That would be lame. But interesting and a great example showing sometimes trade setups take a really long time. We placed this back here. It didn't fill for 19 days. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let me pull up MATIC too. But we look. It's funny. MATIC and ADA every single time win. Every time we do these votes. What's up, Ricardo Cortes? I forgot. I said I was going to chill, talk to the chat. I have not yet. MATIC also filling a live stream trade, it seems. Oh, no, it didn't. It already got stopped. I forgot. Looks like it would have worked again, though. Probably the same take. Let's move to a higher time frame so we don't have to stare at this green box in our way. There we go. Still going all right. Vapor Mang, Vapor Nose. Dude, patience. This is one of my sayings. Patience pays, man. Patience pays. Patience. If you don't have patience, you should not be investing and you should not be trading. You should not trade if you don't have patience. Patience is probably the most valuable virtue to have in trading. And investing. Certainly in investing. Patience is the only element of investing. Okay, I didn't catch this as much last time, but because this is becoming a little more shapely. Okay. All right. MATIC USD looks like it is retesting its previous low on the 12th of June, just shy of it here on the 4-hour. Let's see what our indicators have to say about this. This touch verse last time, MACD's a little sketchy. I'm not going to make kind of an observation on that. Let's look at RSI. So nothing yet. Nothing yet. That's on the 1 hour, no wonder. Okay. The daily, that's where we're looking. Okay, alright. So if we look at our daily, our low on the 12th. We see that here in RSI. We are currently lower. This is exactly, this is exactly the same as One. This is exactly the same as Ethereum. So many coins have this setup now where they put in a low, they bounced, and now they're just hovering above that price. It's actually a really tight situation to be in. Said it a bunch of times, but with 900,000 people watching, probably new people all the time. The issue is, if price remains here, MATIC looks great and it bounces. It's probably going for at least a higher high in this month. Like, wait, where did it trade to this month? Yeah, at least looking to test the high of the month. But the problem is, you're so close. You're so close to having a lower low. And if you have that lower low, which is the difference of 0.006 of a dollar or something, like a fraction of a penny, if you break that low, now you don't have this divergence on the daily. All of a sudden, the chart goes from pretty good to crap. And this is zoomed in. We're just looking at very short term. We're not talking about total. But if this happens, we no longer have that edge. We no longer have that edge that would suggest at least some kind of bounce to here. $1.40. This is in a tight spot, man. MATIC, I think MATIC has looked extremely strong overall through May 19th's kaboom. ADA comes to mind, said that last time. ADA, MATIC, their charts are very similar looking to me overall. And they've both performed rather well through that selling. But what they do now is going to be important. Really don't want to see this low break. I'm going to put an alert. I don't even really trade MATIC. But I actually want to know if that breaks, because that does change the chart a lot. If this daily closes here, you're looking to retest some kind of resistance. You're looking, let's see what the moving averages are. Not bad. That's, yeah, right there, $1.50. That makes sense. I guess a saving grace is, unlike many coins, MATIC is still above its 100 daily moving average. Bitcoin struggling to even pull up to its 200. MATIC's still soaring, and you can see potentially we have a wedge forming here or a flag. And even at the bottom of that flag, you're still nowhere near your 200. I think I can say this. If MATIC puts in a lower low today versus the 11th of June, it's going to look to test support below it at $1. If it doesn't, I think it's going to look to test resistance at $1.50. Seeing as price is at $1.18, there's a good risk to reward to be played in either direction there, but that's up to you guys to figure out, because I ain't giving you no financial advice. That $1.07 to $1 range does look good. Okay. We had bullish divergence on this low, on its Bitcoin pair on MATIC on the 12-hour. I'm going to assume yes on the daily. That has a lot more room. So what this suggests to me is MATIC is looking to gain ground against Bitcoin, but it might lose ground against the dollar. We'll see. If the daily can pick it back up by the end, see tomorrow, get a little bounce, get a retracement back, hopefully to about $1.50. Chart looks decent. If it drops into the close here, sets a lower low, man, it's going to get a little ugly. Gonna get ugly. Not the end of the world ugly, but it kind of kicks you back. It kicks you back into the back of the line. Something like that. Interesting. MATIC. MATIC. VET. Let's look at VET because I want to, because this trade filled. Let's see. Is this going to be an episode of Trade Snipers? Trade Snipers. We filled. We filled. Now what? Now we wait. This better say position closed. VET USD. Stream. Trade set up. Closed if it reaches under 6.5 cents. There we are. Let's zoom it out. When in doubt. VetUSD, see? Below the 200. Similar to lots of things. MATIC, very much above. Very much above. Still a higher low. Very much a higher low versus the 19th. And still very much a higher low versus the 23rd. Let's look at this. RSI. Same setup. All right, this is really weird, guys. This is visible on almost everything on the daily. It looks a little different between the coins. It looks a little different. Your eye might not catch it, but to me, this is on every chart. So what we see, you got to kind of learn to tune out the noise. So what I see here is a drop. This could be a double bottom on RSI, which is a weak reversal signal, but I likely wouldn't even kind of be calculating that. So we saw a drop, we saw a reversal to a lower high, and now again we saw a reversal back down to where that double bottom was. The reason this is so interesting, and actually this is a good sign for VET. This is a good sign for VET, at least versus the other things we've seen. Because let's make this line a little more visible. You can see that this is a lower low in RSI. Similar to a lot of the other charts we just looked at. However, you know, let's pull them up so we can see them like more closely. Just on the daily. So look, they're like identical. They're identical. This is Ethereum. Low, reversal, lower high, reversal. And now we have a lower low in RSI. So this is ETH. It's on MATIC. It's not on Bitcoin. It's on dollar for dollar pair for MATIC. I do believe. Or wait. X is the week. Let's move that to the day. It's on the dollar pair for MATIC. We saw a low, failed high, or a lower high. And now we see another low that is lower than its point. So here's what I'm getting at. The whole market is doing this, but here's what's going to separate this from this signal. Separate. This is what will determine for this signal what that means. So all of these are showing it, but all of their price action is different. Meaning, for MATIC, the low is June 12th. We don't want to see a trade below $1.12.5 because then we have a lower low in RSI and a lower low in price. Ethereum, we have this, so we don't, same thing, we have that lower low. So we don't want to see it trade below 1728 right here. We don't want to see that because if we do, we lose our bullish signal there. We don't want to lose that bullish signal unless you're a bear. And then I can't help you. If you're a bear, I can't help. Just kidding. Actually, if you're a bear, that's going to be an awesome time. It's going to be an awesome signal to go short. If you see this low broken, that will drag RSI down. And now RSI is the lowest point in, it's the lowest point in price and the lowest point in RSI. So all these coins are in like a very delicate situation. One, same thing. This is a little different looking, but to me, it's still really similar. They're all in this same position where they have a previous low. They're very close to that low now. If they hold slightly above it, then you have bullish divergence, things look good. If they move even a small bit underneath the previous low, you no longer have bullish divergence. And if anything, it just starts to look more bearish. It starts to look more bearish. It's really interesting the whole market is showing this. Honestly, it really is. It's cool when the market, when everything lines up. This chart go. Is Ethereum trend line to hold? I don't want this trend line to break. I don't want it to break. Uh-oh. I'm going to read the chat to distract me. Oh, crap. So apparently Streamlabs all about alerting when people follow, right? But it's not alerted me to any super chats. Nothing. What's happening? I mean, if no one's super chatting, that's cool. Makes my job easier. Huh, that's really weird. Screw you, Bitcoin. Get out of here. Doge losing 20 cents. Bitcoin dropping to 31.5. It might be getting spicy in here. Holy. I just got like a million alerts. Let's pull some stuff up. Oh no, Doge. Well, Doge is reaching for support here. Not that much underneath. It's 19-cent support. Good. I mean, good riddance. I think most people will agree with that. Holy heck, though. Look at that candle from support to support. That is wild. That's got to be crazily oversold. Yes, it is on the daily. Bitcoin, please, please, please. I'm getting more alerts. I can't even keep up with all of them. MATIC USD alert under $1.15. Ooh. When I named this stream, when I said watch for bottom, maybe I should have changed it to watch as we bottom. Watch as we go down. Dang, dude, look at Doge. That's actually like really kind of clean, and let's get rid of this. Just like boom, this floor. Man, if it breaks that 19 cents, it's going back to 6, maybe. Ethereum holding up not so terribly. Slightly lower low there, but Ethereum has a lot more room underneath it than some of these. Vet, where are you, buddy? Where are you? Vet. I don't know why I got an alert. Was it Vet? No, it was MATIC. Crap. When I get 10 alerts in a row, it's just like hard to keep up with everything. All right, MATIC. Don't do it. Slightly lower low than the 20. Than the 12. That's not great. Womp, womp, womp. So let's see the damage done. See the damage done. Weirdly enough, this lower low will actually build bullish divergence on the 12-hour for MATIC, but on the daily, it will invalidate it. That's odd. Huh, I'm going to look for a bounce then. Even though the low is broken here, I'm probably going to look for a retracement bounce of this candle because of that 12-hour. So let me throw this up here. Let me catch the red eye. Red eye, red eye, red eye. Ah, that's so lame. All right, well, $1.25. That's going to be easies. That's going to be easy peasy. Then $1.40 will be the chance to beat. So, man, MATIC, you don't want to close below $1.15, but you already put in a lower low in your RSI. Man, that stinks. That's not good. There's one saving grace here to this situation for MATIC, is if MATIC sees buying today, meaning before this candle closes, 2 hours and 15 minutes, this low in RSI could end up, let's use this to make it not so ugly. This low in RSI, because we can see yesterday, RSI was here. It's dropped this, all of this today. So that means, in theory, if it returns to where it opened, RSI will close up here. So what it needs to see now, and this would create bullish divergence as well, because you have a lower low in price and a higher low in RSI. Could do something like this. This isn't set in stone yet, but it's not a good sign. I want to see that RSI move up into close here, because that will give you the unexpected bullish divergence actually in the other direction. Pretty cool. I would reckon a close actually near $1.25 might do that. So I'm putting an alert up there too. Catch the red eye. We need some freaking tunes to like pump Bitcoin and pump them. I was gonna probably like sign off here soon, but I haven't gotten this many alerts in, I don't know, month, 2 months. So I think we're gonna be making this a long stream. Cause dang, they just keep going off. My arm is like vibrating like crazy. Okay. TRB. Not really that much looking there. It looks like it's just heading for that 001 support. If you lose that, man, you're dropping. So let's check it out. No real bullish divergence to be seen in RSI. MACD neither. Well, MACD actually maybe, but meh, not gonna call it. We were expecting a little more range-bound activity, so likely to get a bounce off 1,000 sats here. back test 1200. If you break it, you can go back up to the top of the range. If you don't, you're looking down here in the 5-ish, 6-ish area for TRB BTC. Not a coin I own or know anything about. Just got an alert for it. What other alerts? Let's actually take a look at my alerts because I don't know what's happening. There's too much going on. One time. Yes, Bitcoin back above the trend here on the 15-minute. Will it be enough? Find out. So let's see. We have TRB went off. This is all live, all these alerts. We had TRB. We had VET. We had MATIC. BTC, ONE. I guess there were two more I didn't catch. Wow, we've had a lot of alerts go off today. What can I do about that? I can make a copy. I have so many charts, man. All right, let's get rid of everything. And let's take a look at everything that's alerted today. So, ICP, we already looked at it. We were stopped out, but man, did price chill. Price just hasn't really gone anywhere. Oh, I guess in the last few minutes it's gone lower. I forgot we're on the 15. Litecoin at 128, and you guys know this is hurting my soul right now to see this go down. More alerts. BTC under 31.4. Wow, I'm not going to be able to keep up with this. There's so many freaking alerts going on. Another one. All right, under the trend. What do we got next? This might turn out to be a freaking exciting stream, you guys. Sit back. Sit back. Grab a beer. Chill out and keep the tab open. We're going to be here. Again, more alerts. LTC crossing. BTC. All right, LTC, man. This is hurting. This is hurting. Thank goodness I followed my rules on my butt trade. Because if I didn't follow my rules and sell some of that butt trade, let's see what I would be down. It was a $50,000 butt trade. It'd be down 20%. I'd be down 10 grand right now if I hadn't sold any. Unrealized, obviously. Feeling a lot more comfortable with just a piece of that versus the entire 50 grand. So that's nice for now. Litecoin, though, here, almost certainly going to find some kind of support. You have this major 122 here. It's currently trading 127. You can see last month, like, wicked out of it. Kind of a random spot. Looks like it was just stop hunting 117. But you have monthly support right here on Litecoin. Please hold. Please hold, Litecoin. Please hold. I don't have all of that butt trade, but I have enough of it to make me uncomfortable. If it goes to $100, I will rebuy some of that, which I sold on the butt trade. If it goes to $85, I'm probably just going to go all that back in, even though that's really freaking dumb of me. I don't know if I'll be able to control myself, so. Whew. All right. Bitcoin reaching down, reaching down. Let's go back to this, dang it, this chart, because I know it has all the supports and such. All right, so, yeah, this is kind of our last support, our last area before that May 19 area. Would be nice not to test 31.1, but if we test it and break it, probably looking at that, probably looking at that 30 low. Probably. Zoom in here. This episode got way spicier than I thought it would. It's good to have you guys. Surprisingly, the views hasn't really gone up despite something actually happened versus when we started streaming. Still great to have everybody here. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the stream yet, we have almost 700 likes and 900 watching. That's my fam. I love you guys. You guys are the friggin' best. You guys are the best. And you know it. That's the thing, is that you guys know you're the best. You guys make me great. I appreciate you. Maybe this isn't quite as eventful as I was looking. But let's peek these other charts then if we have a second. LTC. I can't even look at LTC right now. It's too spooky. Raven. Ravens till close. Wow. I'm getting my spidey senses are tingling, boys and girls. It's the next hour and 57 minutes, I have a feeling are gonna be spicy. Very spicy. Like, all these oh my god, all these charts are signaling, like, they're just teasing these little, like, little areas. Like, look at Doge. Doge just, like, touching that support and now wicked up. That is a huge Doge at minus 31%.
You still haven't returned our phone calls regarding your car's extended warranty.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dallin. You know what I can do for you, though, my friend? Instead of that, I can put on your favorite song. Love You Down song. Dude, Doge. What a flush, man. 31% daily red candle on Doge. That's savage. Beating out its May 19th low. No real divergence of any kind. Lowest point in RSI, lowest point in price. Look at that weekly. I mean, I don't know. Are you guys that upset? Are you upset about Doge going down? Doesn't make me happy. I mean, not really. Doesn't do much for me. Thank goodness, though, Bitcoin has not broken. So it broke our trend line, which I'm sad. I'm sad it broke our trend line, but it hasn't broken our low yet, and that's the invalidation. So let's update this chart to be a little cleaner, get rid of a bunch of the crap on here. There we go. Get rid of our 1s and our 2s, 3s, and our lines, and let's mark these, because these are going to be, here we go, 31, 13. That's going to be our invalidation point for our cool little pattern. Or, yeah, it has to be lower than 31. So far, so good, despite breaking this trend. Can't say I'm a fan of that trend breaking. It is what it is. Our 4-hour bullish divergence is fading, unfortunately. It's fading. We'll have to see price move up quite a bit into close here to get back in to that bullish divergence. It might be lost. Rico, lol. Yo, David. David O. Davey O. Why is it not playing? All gold, everything.
What's up, brother? Appreciate you always. Feel like BTC is playing limbo. How low can you go? Lol. If you get bored, doubt it, you can check out Ocean Bar or Luna for me. Buy high, sell low.
Buy high, sell low. Buy high, sell low. Get it, girl. David. Thank you for the 50, my man. Rico, thanks for the 10 and the little bag at you. Lol. David O with the 50. Bitcoin is playing limbo. How low can you go? You know what? I can definitely check out a chart here for you. But no, it's interesting, David. So you're observing this, and I think everyone else, safe to say, is observing, feeling that way. But Bitcoin actually hasn't gone any lower. You know what I mean? Like, let's point this out. So May 19th was the lowest price. This is interesting. This is something to be aware of when you're trading, is if you get rid of all this noise, look at what Bitcoin's done. I'm going to actually hide the chart so that we can see this. I'm going to hide the chart so that we can see this. This is actually what Bitcoin's done. At the end of the day, this is it. Right? It hasn't actually gone lower, but I agree. Like, I'm agreeing with you here, man. Like, even me watching this, doesn't it feel like it's just gone lower and lower and lower and lower, and like we have new lows? It feels that way in our head. But price isn't reflecting that. Sentiment divergence. We've called it before. Called again. Sentiment divergence. Let's flip this upside down. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Non-validated yet. It's dang close. But David, yes, I can definitely check out some Ocean. H-bar Luna. We can do that for our brother David. I'd like to see this 4-hour close back in that trend, and then I really won't consider it broken as long as we don't have a lower low. Let's pull up some of these from Mr. David O. Davey O. Oh man, Davey O. Ocean, haven't heard that one in a while. Last time I looked at it, we were looking for an upside move. Rejected. Wow, savaged. Wow, and that's Bitcoin pair. Savaged here on that drop in May. Still dropping. Your RSI lows, though, are not coming down despite your price coming down. So you're gonna have bullish divergence at some point. Really would not be ideal to even touch 1,000 sats, but if it gets there, yeah, pray for a bounce, man. That'd be a 100% retrace of that rally. That would not be a good sign. So let's make it a nice green line there. Send it our good energy. That's pretty much it underneath, man. Is like, you look at this on the daily. That doesn't look great, but you are painting something like a descending wedge. So you're gonna find some kind of bottom. You're gonna break up, but will you keep going is the question. We don't know. We might end up seeing this. That would be very bearish. That'd actually be very bearish. Move a high, you hit a low, a lower high. If you hit that same low and then you move up with the lower high, that's how you fall out and go into negative. You're not going to go into negative, but that would not be a good pattern. It's a knife. Ocean is a knife right now, but I hope it bounces. Hope it bounces before it reaches 1,000 sats, or else it's definitely in trouble. And the dollar pair, not really doing quite as bad. A little bit lower than May sell off, but it's going to find some strong support here in between 46 and 36 cents. There's just a lot of traded, these are days, a lot of traded time here. Lots of volume. Is it lots of volume? Likely to find support before 36.6. If not, you have 28 below you. You have bullish divergence, you have a higher RSI low, you have a lower low in price. So the dollar pair could be looking kind of better off than some things. But really, let's be real, everything's just following Papa Corn right now. 200 each bar in USD is looking pretty decent, at least at back test of what, 22.5 cents. Depends on how strong the rally is. 41. I do like this. I do like this about H-bar. It's looking to paint a descending channel. And while they aren't typically such great news for short term, they usually break to the upside. That may be at 13.5, or if we get the close today above the 200, it could be sooner rather than later. Let's look at this. Okay. BTC pair. Uh-oh, it's struggling. It's struggling. We were looking for another momentum leg up. Let's move this down because that pattern was right. But we are dangerously close to putting in a lower low here, and that would really goof up this pattern. It's not looking as bullish as it did. However, bullish divergence on your low. Bullish divergence on your low. Could be worse. Higher low, lower low RSI, lower low MACD, higher low price, bullish divergence. Here's what you don't want to see. Is you don't want to see this move back up kind of right to this range and move back down, because then you are in head and shoulders town. That would be bad. Not saying that's happening, but it's a possibility. It's kind of broken our pattern. Really was looking for that descending channel to the upside again. We'll find out. I appreciate you, David O. Thank you for the 50, my man. Very generous. Muy generoso. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. And everybody else, man. Rock Red, welcome Rock Red. Ibram, Michael, Crypto.
87 by Jack.
Bullish Shalom. I'm going to play this one. Come on, Streamlabs. Let me look like I'm doing magic. Eh, whatever. It's not going to do it. Bullish Shalom. There it is. Ah, where is bullish? Where's Shalom done? And is he bullish is the question that we all need to know. Thank you for the 5. I don't know who you are, but it's a good memory, man. I miss Shalom. By the way, someone asked me, they were like, hey, I heard you talking on the stream the other day. Does something happen to Shalom? Is he okay? I have no reason to believe. Mitch Schwan. Benas Rugza says that Bitcoin's over. It's time for XRP. You know what? Just out of sheer nothing. I don't know, just gonna do it. Let's see how XRP's doing. XRP did not bounce a dollar. XRP with a lower low here. Lower low on our side. No bullish divergence between, unfortunately. There'll be some weekly support, though. Looks like you've tested it already. Maybe at support. 62 cents on the weekly. XRP losing 62 cents will be very bad. Has not lost 62 cents. But if it does, that will be very bad. They'll be very bearish. No weekly divergence as you have a lower low and a lower low. Let's look at that monthly. I almost just flung my vape across the room at light speed. You really, XRP right now is 64 cents to 66 cents. This is going to be just so important for the next week and the next month. These closes. It's got to find support here. Doesn't find support, you have a shot at 50. Good luck, though. Gotta find support here. Really on fire. We even called it again in November. It was very quick. Last time we did it, we were a little early. We're looking for it here. So we caught 1, 2, 3, 4 macro moves. And here's where we went wrong. I was looking for this. I was looking for a bounce of dominance to finish out. I don't know if you can see it because I drew so much. This is where I was wrong. I expected from here, consolidate, bounce, and this is what I was looking for. Really? Simple pattern. This is what I was looking for. XRP broke under 62 cents just now. I was looking for this head and shoulders. Easy peasy. We've been looking for downside on dominance. But look at what happened instead. So instead of getting that dead cat bounce, instead of getting that relief, this is like 120 days of sideways and then red. 121 days. Never saw this coming. This was so brutal. We got bamboozled. But now it looks like we're back on track. It looks like it's back in form. Bitcoin's looking to retake some of those, some of that sweet market cap that's given up. I am targeting the 0.5 to the 618 retrace as I do literally every time anything does anything. That puts it in the range of 54 to 60. This isn't an exact science because this isn't an exact chart. It's a calculation. Really what is important here is that we're looking for a higher high versus May here. How far up it goes isn't really relevant. You're not like shorting or longing this anyway. But what you're doing is, well, the higher this goes, the more this becomes true. Higher it goes, better alt entries are. Lower it goes, down here, the more overvalued alts are, and the more likely, or not more likely, but the more we would look to take profit on alts. So Bitcoin dominance up, we look to make entries on alts. Bitcoin dominance down, we look to take profit. It really can be that simple. Just don't start zooming in on this chart. Even the daily is arguably too small of a time frame. Really should be looking at dominance on like a weekly. You can really see how we got faked out there. Didn't get it. Didn't get it. I hope we're not seeing that. Anyway, dominance trending up. Following the charts. Weekly momentum. Fading, almost gone on the sell side. And let's look at the monthly. Monthly, though, unaffected. So monthly suggesting that while we may even get, even if it went exactly as we expected, back to that higher 50s range, the monthly is saying we're probably still going down, though. We're still looking to set a lower low. That's pretty interesting. There could be some very, very lucrative trades here. Best part is it won't be a specific coin. It'll be pretty much any altcoin. Now, don't go jumping into really small micro cap crap that you can't get out of. But good coins, let's put it that way. I'm not going to define that. Good coins. If Bitcoin dominance makes it up here, they're going to be on sale. They're going to be at a good value. Down here, this is where we wanted to be taking profit. You know how you know this is true? Because I bet the majority of people watching, it's not a criticism, but I bet the majority of people watching bought their alts right here. For the May crash. From the May crash until like now. And unfortunately, the majority of people are always going to be on the wrong side of the trade. Just further evidence. Where'd our gold chart go? I think this is just dead cat bouncing. It's just looking to retrace. Where is it looking to retrace? I actually legit have not done this. I have legit not done this yet. So this is going to be news to me, but something tells me that our retracement going to line up with these moving averages. Maybe I'm wrong. 0.5. 0.5. Right there. 1837. With this daily candle intact and closed. Because gold closed, what? 45 minutes ago. Bullish engulf. I feel pretty confident. Placing this. Gold's looking to retrace at least to the 0.5. And that 0.5 lining up exactly where the 50 and 200 are. Rejection from this 0.5 will be catastrophic if it happens. We don't know if it'll happen. But if it happened, holy hell will gold get ugly. Not really, though. You use your fib tool, you look at the measured move to the downside. Really, it's just looking at March's lows. That's not that low. 1686, something like that. Such a weak looking top, though. Just... Tisk tisk. Tisk to tisk tisk. Man, what a great stream. I love you guys, man. I was getting so demotivated. Every day we would stream, and every day there'd be like less and less views. And like one stream we had no one subscribe. We streamed for like 2 hours, and that's never happened before. It was demotivating. And it wasn't like because not a lot of people were watching, but it was I'm a chart man. That's what I do. I look at charts. And the chart of like our growth and of our views, it wasn't like it free fell. It was just every day inching down a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. It was really demoralizing. Don't tell anybody. This is our secret. Now you guys know. ADA, I'm getting an alert. I'm never going to be able to stop this stream, am I? False flags with the 99-cent donations. Oh, wow. It's sending that creepy, weird smiley. I'm okay with it. I love your flags. You're a good dude. Oh, no. Even ADA. Man, you were holding so strong. Ooh. Looks like 4,000 today as resistance. Guys, the whole market is starting to heat. Heat meaning the whole market is starting to kind of move. If you've noticed, hasn't been a lot of movement lately. But right now, everything's seemingly kind of moving in unison. Interesting usually means that a real move is coming. Thank God, though. I'm so done. I'm so done with this sideways range. I don't ever want to see this again. Don't ever want to see this range again. Yeah, dude. ADA just gave itself a little dumparoo. That was a quick dump. The speed of these dumps, too, is really what's going on. So let's see. In the last hour, yeah. Where did this start? ADA opened at $1.36, now down to $1.18. That's quite a dumparoo. Still looking better than most things in the market. Yeah, this is becoming more clear as I keep looking through these charts and chatting with you guys. Every chart has that setup. Every chart has that setup. They have like that May, whether it's May 19th or 24th, they have that spike. RSI got shot into oblivion. And now almost all of them are looking to paint a bullish divergence of some kind. Whether that's with a higher low or lower low. They're all looking to do it. ADA, no exception here. You can see ADA, this is the lowest point in daily RSI since December 2020, all the way down here. So what that means is if ADA does not trade below 92 cents, the lowest point in price we see here, then it has bullish divergence on the daily. That's a good thing. That's quite a bit. That's another 25%-ish down. It's already seen a pretty brutal day. I say that's unlikely. I mean, unless Bitcoin really does something weird, that's not likely today. Yeah, already with a 17% candle on ADA. I think that this is just going to end up looking like the rest of this year. You got so much support from $1 to $1.07. It's fine. What's up, Burn Shut Solution? No. Nope. Whales are getting greedy. Well, what's happening here, like what I'm seeing, how I feel, what I think is, okay, cool. I guess it's pretty tied, man. Just like it's just like the starting poll. Bearish and bullish are now legit tied with 40%. Great. Not a useful poll, but that's okay. I still love you guys. If you're new to crypto, you might not be super familiar kind of with what's going on here. Now, this isn't gonna tell us what direction the price is going. It's not gonna tell us the future. But what we're seeing is the market was very sideways. I think no one really needs to be told that. Very sideways. And now, kind of all at once, we're seeing things move. This is all engineered. This isn't random. This isn't, unique to right now. You see this all the time. And what it's done is it's trained our brain throughout this year, from the start of the year, probably up until May. It's trained our brain to have a certain kind of dopamine release schedule. Little bits, little hits of dopamine. And then it introduced, May 19th, it introduced fear. So we've gone from dopamine to cortisone or whatever the stress is. So it's flipped us in a day, basically. Just flip. In a few days, dopamine to cortisone. I forget what that's called. It's probably not cortisone. I think that's cream. The one that produces stress. So now it's flipped us from from dopamine to stress. And then now it's done nothing. So what is it doing? What is it doing? It's trained us to kind of be euphoric. Then it's turned around, kind of abused us, backhanded us, gave us something scary. Now we're in fear. And then nothing has happened. Just sideways. The market's just letting that fear sink in. But what it's really doing is it's trying to bore people out. You probably feel it. It's boring. Just boring, right? Trying to bore out hands. Fear and greed are not the only weapons that Bitcoin has. Boredom. Maybe the most effective at getting people to quit. And so what's going to happen? And we might be seeing this here. I see pieces of it, but I don't, it's not confirmed yet. Is at some point it's going to fake us out. It's going to fake us out to the downside. It's going to fake us out to the upside. It's going to do one of the two. I don't know which. If I did, I would tell you guys, but nobody does. It's going to fake us out, and what's going to happen is everyone's going to latch on to whatever emotion that is because we've had nothing. We've been trained, and then we had that reversed and kind of turned against us, and now we have nothing. And so whatever happens next is going to have like an extreme emotional response, meaning just much more than usual. We see almost every coin right now moving down. So I'm going to go ahead and say maybe it shows fear. But if I'm right, this is all likely just being engineered to pump. Doesn't mean it's going to pump right now. But it could. I mean, it could pump the next day, into the next daily. It's possible. It's not, guaranteed or necessary. But this is engineered, guys. Like, people sold. They panic sold here. Panic sold probably here. Probably panic bought here. And now they're panic selling again. Bitcoin, if anything, and that applies to crypto, it's all psychological. It's just in your head. Whatever you're feeling in your head, and the stronger that feeling is, the less likely that it is to be in the right direction, if that makes sense. If you're really afraid, he's probably going up. If you're really euphoric, it's probably going down. No, it's not instant. But we saw that. I mean, we saw that in May. Everybody was pretty euphoric. I wouldn't say full euphoria, but there's some pretty dense euphoria. And then the price went down. It wasn't right away. It wasn't the second there was euphoria. But it gets us comfortable. Be aware of what watching these charts is doing to your brain, because it is doing something. It's putting you on a schedule. I swear to God. It's putting you on a schedule. It's giving you these little hits. And then it takes them away. And you feel it. And that's why people have been saying, oh man, it's been going down forever. But it hasn't made any lower lows yet. It hasn't made any lower lows. But it feels like it's going down because we've had that rhythm disturbed. And that's part of the game. Now, I may have to take this back. We may be getting a lower low right now. But this hourly, look at this. This hourly closes in 29 seconds. If in the next 24 seconds, it doesn't go below. Next 24 seconds. If it doesn't go below this 31, the next hourly is probably going to reverse. I'll put that out there. I'll put it out. It's going to be close. You have 8 seconds. There we go. New hourly. What? 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 Who was just getting a little afraid there? Who's starting to experience fear? Whenever you're starting to experience an emotion and you're seeing price, also look to see what time it is. Because if it's right before a close of an hourly, usually you get some shenanigans. Just like that. Bam. Called it. Game. Still could go down. Still can always go down. Something tells me, though. Something tells me, man. I'm getting so many alerts, my watch is going to die. Apparently my Raven trade, RVN USD trade was stopped out. Boo. Man, we had a heck of a lot of people join Discord. Right on, dude. This is more people joined Discord today than maybe this entire month combined. Right on, man. So important. Salty, Ilshad, JGD, Randy IP, Avatar Dev, Stetson. There you are, bro. I'm not mad at you, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate criticism if it's constructive. Like the guy who said, "Make your analysis better, not constructive content." Cryptix, Braveheart, Kaiz, Mazasaravitis Rambo Quick. Cable Tray 23. Well, that'd put us 20 closer. I don't know if we've ever gotten 1,000. And if we have, it's been so long that I don't remember. So, if you guys want to make my day, you know how. 990! These numbers are really moving around fast. Some people are unliking. There we go, 1K. I saw it. It's there. Screenshot it for proof. I got the screenshot. Bam. Yeah, you guys freaking rock. I love you guys. I love you guys. All right. 5-minute TA says a little bit of bully divergence on the 5. Not a big deal, though. Little bully. Not a lot of bully. It's 5-minute. Whatever we find is going to be irrelevant. What a good stream. This is 2 good streams in a row that I didn't have high expectations for. And I owe you guys. You guys, you know, the people that you guys show up, you come to all the streams, you watch all the lives. You guys are the best. Couldn't do it without you. It was getting really demotivating. You know what? Today's also going to be the first stream over 10K views in a while. All thanks to you guys. You guys rock. Dang, 9.2% click rate. 10% click rate. I don't know what we did. Who tickled YouTube's fancy to have them treat us so nicely lately? Wasn't me. All right. What? Luck, yeah, dude. You are old school, fam. 17. All right. 45 minutes till close. We got a lot of viewers. I love you guys. You guys are so amazing. You made my day now twice. I just can't believe it. Let's do this. Let me see my schedule. I think tomorrow. Good. Let's see. Tomorrow. Simon. I'm meeting with Simon tomorrow. Shout out to Simon if you're here. But that won't take the whole day. Check the calendar. Oh no, Simon, that's on Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow. All right. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, we're going to stream again. We're going to be live again tomorrow. Guaranteed. God, I hope I didn't promise someone something and regret saying that. Oh well. This stream's been amazing. You guys are amazing. Make sure you're in Discord. Remember, Discord now, you don't even have to click a link, man. Discord, just discord.gg/TomCrown. Don't even need a link, right? I'm going to throw it in here. Here's what I want you guys to promise me. Come back tomorrow. We're going to be live. More TA. More requests. Hopefully you'll be there. Today was amazing. You guys are freaking the best. Love ya. Crown out.